Hey everybody, this is Sherry with Butternut Hollow Crafts, hashtag old lady with tools. And it's my Monday Night Live again. And so if you're joining me tonight, thank you. Or if you're watching me on replay, thank you. I appreciate your support. So let's see. Tonight I decided that I will make a fun little, maybe put a little spin on a flag for like a door hanger or patriotic theme type deal. So I'm going to turn you down and we'll get started. So we are going to be using Royce's decoupage papers, the typography blocks, and I'm going to be using just a section of it and the red ticking paper. It's just not for Christmas, and so we'll see that tonight. But what I did is I'm trying to use some stuff up that I have. And so this is just a piece of 1/2-inch plywood. And last year I did a class on, we made signs out of these. And if you look at the shape, it kind of looks like a cow ear tag. And that's what the class was based on a rule sign that we made. But I thought, let's turn this into kind of a flag, kind of iffy. So I just stained it with the farmhouse paint wood stain cocoa, the cocoa brown. And I didn't care that I went over because if you've been watching Royce's lives, it kind of makes the halo when you decoupage. But I'm going to paint over this anyway. But if any of this shows through, it's not going to be a big deal. But I kind of taped off where I wanted the blue part of my flag. So we're going to paint this blue, and then we're going to decoupage down here. So let's get this painted blue first. And I'm going to be using my farmhouse Old Navy. I really like this. It's a deep blue. So we'll get that top part painted. And I just taped this off because I do want a fairly crisp line here. I may lay something over that, but in case I decide not to, I wanted a nice, straight, crisp line. So that's why I have the painter's tape on there. But let's just get a coat of blue on there. It's probably going to take a couple coats, which is fine. I'll just take my little craft dryer and give it a quick dry. This farmhouse paint, it's an all-in-one paint. So it's great if you want to decoupage over it, excuse me, or apply transfers over it. And it dries really quick, but it's durable. So we'll just get this coat on here real quick. And then I will give it a quick drying so we can give it a second coat. That's a nice deep navy, don't you think? And that's dry enough to give it a second coat, and then we can peel up the tape. And I'll show you what I'm going to do with the two different kinds of paper that I chose for tonight. There we go. Hi, Doris from North Carolina. Thanks for joining me, dear. How's the weather been there? Here it's hot and dry, unfortunately. We could really use a rain here, but doesn't look like that's coming anytime soon. So I just want to dry this, mainly this bottom part where I'm going to peel up this tape because that's where we're going to decoupage up next to. And I do not want that paint wet when I lay that paper down. So we'll just give it a quick dry here to make sure I'm not going to mess my paper up. Oh, humid's not good, but the rain would be welcome, Doris. I'm jealous. Okay, so let's peel this tape up, and hopefully I'll have a semi-crisp line, and you'll see why that's important to me here in a minute. There we go. And so that's going to be the top part of our flag. And I don't know if you can see on my board, but I made little pencil marks because I want my stripes are going to run this way. And I wanted them to be fairly uniform. They don't have to be perfect, but I wanted them somewhat. And so I cut the red ticking paper. And what I did is I did the wet method cut. As you can see in my lines, I did not want straight lines. And we're going to just layer the ticking paper and the typography blocks just like this. You'll kind of get the gist of it to kind of, excuse me, kind of make it look like a flag. And I want the straight edges up. And so this is kind of how we're going to lay this out. And I think that would look kind of cute. So let's get to decoupage. And tonight I am going to, as my decoupage medium, oh, I got to paint this first though, guys, because I do want this white. I do. So let me give this a quick coat of white paint. I'm getting ahead of myself because I do want this paper to pop somewhat. So let's just give this a quick coat. And like I said, I I don't care about the halo. In fact, I think the halo will add to it because I do want this to look kind of aged. So and this coat does not have to be perfect. I just didn't want the bare wood. So we will give it a quick coat, and then I may have to remark my pencil lines so that I can know where I want my paper to lay. I am going to be putting something across here, so it doesn't have to be right across this way, so it doesn't have to be perfect. But I still want it to be fairly straight and close. I can't believe I almost forgot to paint this. This would not have been good, guys. And I'm having these little pieces of wood because this is plywood. Even though it was finished on one side, plywood is plywood. Hi, Joni. Thanks for joining me. How you doing? Glad you made it, dear. So we'll just finish giving this a coat of white. So that we can get the decoupaging done. Well, thank you, Joni. So this is the boring part, guys. I'm sorry. I should have maybe had this painted beforehand, but I didn't. I've been working on projects all day. Let's give this a quick dry. And I'm going to give it one more light, quick coat. Okay. Just give it one more quick coat, guys. And this is the farmhouse paint. Again, it's an all-in-one paint. And this color is the white ash. So it's not a white. It's kind of a, I like it. It's a kind of a creamy white. But the papers still pop under it. But if you're following Royce's Sunday Night Lives, she's showing some really cool tips and tricks to decoupaging. So if you haven't been following her, if you're seeing me like on my page and not on Royce's, go over there and follow Roycycle Treasures. Make sure you catch her Sunday Night Lives because she gives so much good information and tips and tricks and how to and what not to do and all of that. And right now she's doing a series of decoupaging and how to do these halos and underpainting and overpainting and the transfers and all the good stuff. So try and catch her on Sunday night. If not, I know you can catch her on replay too. So go to her page and watch her videos. They're very, very informative. So that's how I have learned most of my stuff is from Royce. So again, I got to give this a quick coat or quick dry. And then I'm going to have to make my marks again. Just little pencil marks because I had to cover them up. And this coat's got to be dry anyway for me to decoupage. So bear with me to get through this step. Okay, so that is dry. And now real quick, I've got to put my pencil mark back on there. And they're just a little bit over 2 1/4 is, if I remember right. So let me just make little pencil marks. And you guys might not be able to see them, but I can. I just don't want them really dark because I don't want them bleeding through my paper. There we go. So they're just little light pencil marks for me to know where to line my paper up. Now we will decoupage. And so usually, you use a clear decoupage medium to apply the paper. But like, again, if you've been following Royce, it doesn't have to be clear. Hi, Jolene. Thanks for joining me. If it does not have to be, like, your paint doesn't have to be white. It does if you want your paper to pop, but she shows you all the reasons of why's in the house. So I decided I kind of want this whole thing to look a little aged. So what I am going to do, I got to touch up there. I am going to use, I usually use the DIY liquid patina in the clear, but for tonight, I'm going to use the dark and decrepit liquid patina. You can use this as a decoupage medium too, but it's going to make it aged, make it look aged underneath. So I'm going to figure out, I want this paper first, I think. And see, there's my little pencil mark. So we're going to line that up like that. And I kind of got the edge of this paper where I can kind of eye it to see if I'm going to be, my stripes are going to be fairly straight. I'm going to have to stand up for this though, guys, because I really want this paper. I want my lines to be straight. There's some things I can let go. This would not be one of them. And my OCD will get the best of me. So you apply this just like you do your liquid. It's, or the clear. It is not any different. It's just going to make the underneath of the paper not pop so much. It's going to make it look a little aged. So this is right where I want my paper. So I'm going to stick that down, and I want it stuck down good. But see how you can see, get that stuck down. See how you can see the difference where it's white here, but you can still see the stripe. And that's kind of the look I was going for. I wanted it to look not pop quite. It didn't have to pop quite so like on the white surface. I wanted a little darker underneath. So I've been experimenting with this dark and decrepit, and the more I work with it, the more I really like it. Now remember though, when I seal this, I'll use the clear. I wouldn't put this on top of the paper without sealing it first, because it will make it, the paper will just soak it up, and it will make it really, really dark. And see how, that's another thing with this patina. You got to be careful because this will show stop and start marks a lot more than your clear. So but we're going to stamp over this anyway, so I think we'll be fine. I'm just going to wipe this off like this because I do not want that on there. And now I'm going to do my next row. And since I have the edge of this paper down, I kind of know where to go. So this row, I kind of want to go all the way down in one stroke so that I do not have to worry about those stop and start marks. I experimented on little pieces, but this one just showed me that what will happen if you stop and start like I did. So we'll just lay that down there just like that. I want you up a little higher. Just like that. Make sure I'm staying straight on my flag lines. There we go. Whoops. That wants to come off of there. There we go. And seeing by doing the wet method, the wet tear method, it kind of gives it a nice transition, I think, from one to the other. So, and I like that it kind of bleeds through like that. It makes it look aged, which was exactly what I was going for. So I'll keep going like this. Just going to go right on down. And now we want another red one. Make sure we lay that right where we want it, just about there and there. Make sure I'm still staying straight, and I am. Okay. We'll keep moving. That edge of that paper is sticking up, and I don't like that, but I'm afraid if I stick this underneath there, it's going to show a different color. So what I will do is make sure I hit it with some clear when I get there. Let's lay another white one down. Make sure I'm getting far enough over to cover that row. Make sure we get the wrinkles out. Okay. Hey, Sonny, how you doing? We'll lay this down like this. Come over. And then the last one, I'm gonna lay like this. Make sure, trying to keep my tops somewhat even. Get that stuck down. Well, hi, Barbara. Barbara, the decoupage medium I'm using this is a DIY liquid patina, but instead of the clear, I'm using the dark and decrepit because I wanted my paper to have a little look a little aged underneath. And so I've usually used the dark and decrepit on top to age something. So I wanted to try it underneath the paper, and I'm kind of liking it. It looks, the paper looks a little aged, don't you guys think? And so I want to make sure this is stuck down good. And before I sand this or anything, I am going to go ahead and go over top of this with a clear because I want this to be good and stuck down. Thanks, Sonny. And so now I'll go over top of this with the DIY liquid patina. Let me grab a brush. And make sure all my, where I join my papers are all stuck good. This is a pretty easy and quick project if you have the wood. Like I said, this was it really was an ear tag. It was an enlargement of a cattle ear tag because I live in a rural area, and we did a fun sign with these. And I had a couple of these left over that I had cut out of 1/2-inch plywood. And so I thought it would be a good way to use them up. And I thought they'd be make a cute like door hanger or hanging outside your house by your door. It's just a little spin on the American flag. It's not your typical American flag. So yeah. And so now I'm going to give this a dry because I got to sand this outside edge. Then we'll sand off the excess paper. And all my wrinkles should go away because they weren't there before I top coated. Everything's getting stuck down. Now, no, you guys can't see it, but all those wrinkles have disappeared. What do you guys think of that darker medium underneath that's coming through on the paper? I think it looks kind of cool. Okay, this did not get stuck down right here for whatever reason. So we are going to just go in there with a little clear because if I try that dark and decrepit, it's going to change. I'm going to have a stop and start line for sure. And that I don't want. So let's just do it just like this. There we go. There's always a way to fix your mistakes, guys. Always. Or your happy accidents, or whatever you want to call them. While I got this out, I'm going to fix that. Okay. Sunny Dark and Decrepit is a liquid patina by DIY Paint. Like right here, I have the clear. The Dark and Decrepit is the dark, but it's still, oops, where's my camera? It's still a liquid patina. And I thought it would be fun to try and decoupage underneath the paper with it to see what the effect is. I kind of like it. I wasn't sure what was going to happen. I know live is not the time to do that, but I did not get around to trying it today. So I was like, well, we're going to see what happens. And I really like it. Usually I use it over top of something after I have sealed it to age it. But I thought it's a patina. I should be able to decoupage with it. And yeah, I do feel like I have to lay more of it down than the clear to get the paper to stick. But I mean, thanks, Sonny. But I do like the look it gave. I like it a lot. So let's get these edges sanded. Because I want to make sure they're all stuck down good. And if you never decoupage, this is a little 220 sanding block that I'm using. And you go in one direction. You go down. I go down. Because you will see when I get this edge off that I have a nice, crisp, clean edge. that follows your the curve of your project. So my paper wants to tear right there. Hang on here. There. And so you can see I have a nice crisp, clean edge around my this project. And again, the red stripes is recycled red ticking paper, and the musical notes are from a section on the typography blocks. And I do not know how to read music, but I'm going to say these are playing, oh, say, can you see? Because that's my project and I can say that. So far, look at now. Don't you think that makes a cute little spin on the American flag? I thought it turned out pretty cute. Now I just want to go along these edges right here and kind of tuck in some of the clear medium, because that is, and I always go around and check my edges like this, make sure nothing's coming up. And then I'm just going to give this, the only reason I'm painting this, I would not have to because of the farmhouse paint, but because I got some medium up there, I want the whole thing to have the same sheen, because this patina and the farmhouse paint are just a little different in sheen, and it would be noticeable. So to keep my project sheen all the same, I always go over an area, even if I painted it with a product that doesn't really have to be top coated. Well, thank you, Barbara. I really appreciate that. And so now when this dries, my whole project will have the same kind of a, like I said, the same sheen. It won't be like matte and eggshell or flat and satin or anything like that. It will look a little more uniform. There we go. And now I was trying to decide on what I wanted to put across here. And I think what I want to do is, this is a piece of trim that you buy from Wood You Bend. And Sunny on here is the Wood You Bend West distributor. So if you have any questions about this, I will try and answer them. But Sunny, if you stay on here, please answer them. So this, I think, is the rope trim. I'm not sure. I bought this several years ago. And if you see, it comes in a rope like this. And actually, this was wound up tight, you guys. The cool thing about these Wood You Bend products is they are actually wood, but they bend, probably hence their name. But I wanted to show you what happens, how I got this from this, because this I think is going to go across here like that, but I think we'll age it a little bit. This rope, if you take my little craft dryer, and you can see how this is really stiff. I can't do nothing with this. But if I just hit this just a little bit with my heat, now the thicker pieces, I'm sure you have to hit a little harder or longer or whatever. But just hitting that, do you see how this bends now? And then I could literally, you can curve this stuff, guys, around, I could curve it around this jar if I wanted to play with it long enough. But see, I can heat this back up and roll it back up like this. And now it's easy to store again. So that is one of the cool things about the Wood You Burn products. And you guys, they have trim and they have everything you want. Embellishments. I mean, it is really cool. Some of the stuff they have and the stuff you can do with it is amazing. So guys, give me, if I put some Dark and Decrepit on this and age this, should I use that there? Or, oh, what happened? I have some cool little washi tape that's just got a cute little design. We could lay that on there. Or, I was going to say do nothing, but we got to do something. I kind of really like this Wood You Bend trim on here. Yes, Barbara, it is really cool. I think I'm going to use this trim on here, but I think I'm going to hit it with some of that Dark and Decrepit first and wipe it back, which I'll show you how you can use that Dark and Decrepit then in another manner. Because I think that would be super cute on here. So this is just a wet wipe that I'm getting. And I'm going to get a small brush. Which one? Yeah, this one should work. And then I'm going to take, and I'm only shaking this Dark and Decrepit because I want some on the lid, because I will not need a whole lot. And then I'm going to take, we'll start up here. Can you guys see me? And I'm just going to brush this on here. And I am going to work in small sections because I don't want this to dry like this. And then I'm going to take my wet wipe and I'm just going to lightly wipe back as much or as little that I want. And again, I'm barely touching this because I really want my Dark and Decrepit to stay in those cracks because I think that will look really cool on here. And then we'll just glue this down. If I go back here because I see a spot I missed, you go back and hit it real quick and wipe away any excess. It does, Sunny. And this is a way to bring out the details, but the Wood You Bend products, you guys, I mean, they sell other stuff than the wood stuff like this, but these wood products that they sell they're just amazing and so detailed. I mean, this actually, looks like a piece of rope trim. So I just keep messing with it till I get the look I want. And I can always touch it up more once I get it on there. And we're going to dry that, and I'll show you how easy it is to attach, because it's also very easy to attach. And this is the manner that most people use the dark and decrepit to bring out highlight detail in that on pieces. I just wanted to see what it looked like if you actually decoupaged with it. And I have to say, I kind of like it. I'm kind of impressed. And see, I've heated this up again by drying that. And look at how flexible that is, where I will be able to lay that down and glue it right there. And it trims really easy too, which I will show you once I get this down. But to glue this down, I'm going to use my Tight Bond Quick and Thick. And I use my finger to spread the glue. Whoops. Most people, or some people use like, oh, your transfer sticks and all that. I do not. A little bit more there. And I want enough glue on here and on the edges to stick it down, but try not to make it so it oozes out. This will dry clear, but it'll just make things easier. So there's that. Yes, it is water-based. Well, hit me up, Sonny. I can help you out, sweetie. Everything that I'm using tonight, dear everybody, except for the wood you bend, I carry in my shop. And I have been contemplating on carrying wood you bend, but right now I'm not. So what I ask is if you want the wood you bend, go to Poppies and Pansies. That is Sunny's page. And order directly from her. I think she'll be more than happy to take care of you guys. Her and her sister Micah that I met at Royce's retreat, and we had a really good time. Sunny kind of got, well, I sat down next to Sunny, so she kind of got stuck with me there, but we ended up having a really good time at that retreat. And it was a great experience, and I made great friends, and Sunny and Micah were two of them. So there. And now I'm going to show you how easy this is to trim. And I'm going to just follow the line of my design here. And so if you heat this up, it trims easier than if you let it get hard. And I like to flip my pieces over like this because then I can actually see exactly where I need to cut. And this is just an X-Acto knife, guys. It's nothing major. You know, it's not like a big old knife or anything. I just got to get down in there deeper. In there. See, it trimmed right up nice and neat. Now get the other side trimmed here. But heat it up before you trim it, and it trims like butter. So now I'm going to just hold that down and come right on the edge of my wood. See? But because I do not want, see how you can see that wood? I am going to take my dark and decrepit again. In my wet wipe. And I'm just going to dip my finger in, whoops, finger in there and touch that. Do the same thing over here. And now you don't see the ends anymore. So what do you guys think so far? This is my flag. Now the one thing I didn't do because I just wasn't sure. I want stars. Whoops. I just tore my paper up, guys. Let me fix that real quick. I want stars up here. And I was going to make a stencil, but I didn't get that made, which I still could and take a picture and show you guys after. Would not be a big deal. Let's get that stuck down really good. Or, thank you, Joni. Well, thank you, Melissa. Or you guys, so this is my choices. I either make a stencil and we put some white stars up here sporadically, or I brought in these for another project, which I could use. I have these little rusty metal stars, which I thought would be cute. And we could just randomly, you know, set these around like that. So do you guys like the rusty stars like that? Let me turn it around. I can attach them like that. Or should I do white? I think I like the rusty because I think white would be too crisp and clean when the rest of my project's not. So I think I just answered my own question, you guys. Yes, Barbara, thank you. The rusty stars. So we are going to use, we'll do this. And then, of course, I have to splatter because I love splatter. I'm just going to get some glue put on all these. And then we'll get it spread out and put them down. And yeah. So I just, like I said, I use my finger. Okay. Let's put you there. Whoops. See, that's what I didn't want to do. No, this stuff will dry clear, but we're going to clean this up a little bit so it doesn't look so too bad. I could brush a little white on there. I think, Tina, I'm hoping that once I splatter, I'm going to take some white, my what is it? White ash paint, and I think I'm going to do some splatter on here, and hopefully that will be enough. If not, yes, I think the dry brushing a little white on these stars would look kind of cool too. I think that is a great suggestion. Let's lay them there. And wouldn't you know it, I do not have enough glue on here. There we go. Thank you, Melinda. I appreciate your kind comment. And then we're going to lay this here like that. I'm just going to give these a little push down. Okay, now I am going to splatter, and to splatter, I gotta find the brush I like. I like a good stiff brush. I don't normally do the typical splatter because I don't know why. I just don't. I'm gonna take my brush and dip it in this paint, and I'm just gonna flick it. And then, what is that? We're going to give a little bit down here. And then I also think hey, Colleen, how you doing? I think we could take a little bit of this dark and decrepit, and I'm going to use the same brush. Just going to wipe a little bit of white off and flick some of that down here to age it just a smidgen more. And when this dries, the dark and decrepit, it will be very, very subtle. So let's put that away. What do you think? I kind of like it. I like the subtlety of everything on here. And then I had some of this sari ribbon, they call it. That I am going to use as a hanger. And I wrap a little piece of tape around ribbon that is too big to go through. And then bring it up through. And I'll tie it off. Trim everything up. There. Thank you, Colleen. So there's my, just a take on a flag. I'll get a good picture of it. And hi, Rita. And we'll see what you guys think. But like I said, it's just a little twist, and I think it turned out kind of cool. Thank you, Barbara. I just love the splatter. So that's my project for tonight, guys. I thank you so much for joining me, and thanks, Doris. And if you join me on replay, feel free to let me know where you're from, and if you have any questions, answer them. But again, follow me on Facebook, Butternut Hollow. I have a YouTube channel too. If you thank you, Barbara. If you have any questions, give me a shout out. All these products, with exception of the Wood You Bend, I do carry on my website, hollowcrafts.com. The Wood You Bend products, please hop on over to Poppies and Pansies, and they'll be more than happy to help you guys out. So you guys have a wonderful night, and thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Bye-bye.